And just like that, AMC stock is back red on the day. Now we're green on the day a little bit. In the video we posted earlier today, AMC stock was up almost 6%. This is kind of laughable at this point. The sheer degree of manipulation is off of the charts. But neither here or there, we're going to give you the update on everything that is going on with AMC stock today that you need to know. I still do think a big bounce is in the cards. I expected that this week, and surely you have bounced a decent bit off the lows at $10.72 per share. That is an upside move of about 23%, give or take, from the lows, so it's not terrible. Could be worse. We could still be selling off, but I do think a bigger bounce is in the cards to land us in that mid $25 range, that $24, $25 range. And I'll go over why here in this video. Now, let's get into everything you need to know. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. That is very vital and important that you do so. Now, the news that affected AMC stock today was Taylor Swift. Yeah, Taylor Swift. She is going to be putting a movie in theaters starting in October, so pretty quickly, following her Eras tour. Now, this gave AMC a boost, this gave IMAX a boost, Cinemark a boost, basically everyone. Let's see what IMAX is actually doing today. I think this is interesting. So, IMAX, still up 0.5%. Let's see. Cinemark, that's up 1.23% or 1.34%. This stock has not seen nearly the same degree of a sell-off that AMC has seen. Let's pull it up on the 1 minute as well for AMC. What in the world? Look at it. It's basically straight down. Ever since we made the video earlier, ever since pre-market when this news dropped and AMC hit $14.39 per share. Look at the stock. It's a beautiful like kind of if you're like a snowboarder or a skier, you would love to ride a slope like this, right? You come down, you're way at the highs, you come down quickly, hit a little bump, come straight down, you hit a big jump, and you're kind of just smooth sailing all the way down. You just don't see this. Look at Cinemark, right? Nothing the same as AMC. So the manipulation is off the charts. Just remember that. And that makes this stock very volatile. And it's going to be very volatile for a long time. Okay, so that is the news that initially affected the stock here today. Now, we're coming off of good news in the morning as well. That, I don't know how much of an impact it had to AMC stock, but it looks like the soft landing is more likely after today. And a wage price spiral, less likely after today. Personal income month over month came in at 0.2%. You were expecting 0.3%, so that is welcome. That is good. Personal spending came in at 0.8%. You would think this would be good for a movie theater company, seeing personal spending going higher than expectations, but apparently not. Apparently that's kind of the world that we are in right now. Personal spending came in at 0.8%. You were expecting 0.7%. Some forecasts were as low as 0.4%. This is great news. This is keeping us out of a recession. Personal spending needs to hold up. If personal spending collapses and, starts to look bad, then odds of a recession are dramatically going to increase. And core PCE price index month over month came in at 0.2%. You were expecting 0.2%. So really good here. It could have came in at 0.1%. I thought that it probably would come in at 0.1%, but it did not. And that's just fine. 0.2% annualized is 2.4% annualized. So you throw in a 0.1, couple of 0.1 readings in there, you're going to be pretty close to 2% annualized inflation. That's great. The Fed has essentially conquered inflation. So it really begs the question of when do they start cutting rates? When the rate cuts do ultimately come, which the markets are currently not expecting until May 1st of 2024, that is going to be a really good thing for AMC stock and for a lot of other stocks as well, at least in my personal opinion. So be on the lookout for that. Any data that does really support the soft landing and the Fed can cut rates, and that should be a positive for AMC. If not AMC, the broader markets. We know AMC is manipulated, so it might not be positive for AMC, but the broader markets, sure. Now, Tomorrow's data is going to be massive as well. Make sure the audio is picking up this video. The non-farm payroll report for the month of August, you're expecting 170,000 job ads. Some estimates are as high as 180,000. Last month's reading was 187,000 job ads. So the obvious answer to this, you don't want it too high, you don't want it too low. Anything under 100,000, that screams recession. Because usually right before a recession, you start to see the jobs just fall off of a cliff, right? People stop hiring right before a recession. So this will be very important for that aspect. Although we did get initial jobless claims today, and that came out better than expectations at 228,000. You were expecting 235,000. So it looks like maybe we are getting the soft landing, because keep in mind, on Tuesday, we had the JOLTS job openings that came out. 700,000 job openings lower than estimates, which is crazy, right? The Fed has been very clear. We don't have to see the unemployment rate rise as long as the job openings fall. We can get slack in the labor market that way as well. And that's what so far looks like is happening. If the unemployment rate does jump tomorrow, that's going to be a big problem. You're expecting 3.5% for the unemployment rate. Last month's reading for the unemployment rate as well was 3.5%. So you want to see that come in right at about 3.5%. If it dropped to 3.4%, that would be fine. 3.6% is okay. But if you get to 3.7% or higher, that's where you start to get back to the highs that we have seen in the last year. If we did come in at like 3.75% or 3.8%, that is where you have a much, much, much bigger problem on your hands, at least for the markets. And you can see big increases like we've seen from April at 3.4% unemployment. And then in May, you jump to 3.7%. You've been falling ever since May. But if you did see a big jump tomorrow, that would be not a great thing for the market. So do go ahead and keep that in mind. Now, if we look at AMC stock over here on Ortex, we love the data over here, right? It's just so inaccurate. It's terrible right now. You could see shares out on loan 27.18 million. That would be about 50% short interest of free float. The estimate we're getting right now is 13% short interest of free float. The last official short interest report we got was 29.25%. So take that information as you please. I think that means the short interest is really in between 35 and 45%. Could be much higher than that, right? AMC stock has dropped 65-70% since August 15th. So to see the short interest go from 29.25 to at least 35%, I think is pretty conservative. Okay, based on a 70-ish% fall since the last exchange reported short interest. So odds are we're really closer to about 45%, could be over 50%. Some data providers have said we're 90-95% short. That's also a possibility as well. Now, AMC stock, take notice, is on Threshold Securities list still every single day for weeks and months now, which, I mean, Wall Street just really doesn't care about, or regulators, I should say, really don't care that AMC stock is still on the Threshold Securities list, as FTDs are in the multi-millions for the next couple of weeks. Today, you are seeing FTDs coming due of about 7 million. Tomorrow, you're at 7.2 million, and on Monday of next week, you're at 7.7 million. Then you do start to fall off a little bit. You start Tuesday at about 7 million as well, and then you trade really right around 4 million, 4.5 million for the next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trading days or so. So the FTDs are a problem. They've been a problem, and they still probably will be a problem for a while. Now, one of the big stories recently with AMC stock has been the option activity. Now, option activity goes back and forth, as you guys do know. If you take a look at the option chain for this Friday, the $13 call is very important, and it makes sense why the market makers, the hedge funds, institutions have dropped AMC stock under $13 per share, because there is 8,529 puts at the $13 put, and there is 9,370 calls at the $13 call. So this, all in all, is about 3 million shares that market makers would have to buy or net long in AMC stock. That's a problem for the hedge funds and institutions that are 45, 50+% short on AMC stock. That's not what they want to see. And then if you take notice, just take notice of this. This might not mean anything, but take notice of it. The puts that are in the money, well, they're not. There's not a lot of puts in the money besides the $18 put and the $13 put. Most of the puts are out the money at like the $10 put. So you don't have a lot of put buyers that are going to be happy around these prices. They really want to see the stock really under $10 per share to be happy. Whereas on the call side, you're seeing a lot of calls just outside of the money. Once you get to the $18 call, you're going to see like 10 million, 15 million shares that would have to be hedged for if AMC stock did make it to $18 per share. So there is a lot of option activity right there on the sidelines, just ready to go into the money, at least on the call side. And puts, most of them are already out of the money. Now, if we look at the Stocko Tracker data, you got 14,233 calls in the money. Out the money calls at 52,731. In the money puts at 25,607. Out the money puts at 39,239. So, pretty decent option activity, all things considered, right? 10x these values, you're over 500,000 calls out the money, 500,000 puts out the money, about 250,000 puts currently in the money, and that would be, 140,000 calls in the money. That is extrapolating the same numbers that we used to see, given the stock has been, not diluted 10x, but you've seen the reverse split. So now these numbers are comparable to very large numbers that you used to see on the Stocko Tracker data. So the option activity has not gone away. It's very much alive and well and here. So I do think this will continue to contribute to very volatile moves in AMC stock. Unfortunately, Ortex is not aggregating the option data as well here today, but what we've seen recently, the last time we did get this data aggregated for us on Ortex, you were seeing positive order values in the 60 to 70% range. So if that's still obviously true, which probably is, considering the last 2 days have been relatively bullish, that's a really good sign. Now, when you look at cost to borrow fees on Interactive Brokers around 10%. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I really don't care. I don't think that's the biggest thing at play right now. I think we just need a little bit of clarity from the management of AMC. Did they already raise capital? Is that why AMC stock fell 70%? Did they do a massive capital raise? Does their balance sheet have billions of dollars on it? I think that's what the markets want to know. And once we get that news, that's actually very positive. If we already got the dilution, and we're not going to get dilution for a while, that is very positive. And the stock should bounce big off of that news, which again, keep in mind, could come anytime. So if you see AMC stock in pre-market or after hours up, 30, 40, 50%, it's probably because news came out that AMC has diluted us, and that has already been factored into AMC stock already. So keep that in mind. That is definitely a possibility that I am looking forward to. So that's kind of what I have for you guys. Again, tomorrow's economic data will be very, very important, so do go ahead and keep that in mind. If we take a look at the technicals here on AMC stock, again, the RSI is still oversold at 26.64, and until we get a big bounce, you're probably going to stay oversold for a while, and this just means we're likely to get a big bounce. We're overdue for a big bounce, right? Typically, buying AMC stock when the stock is oversold has always been a winning trade. So you kind of want to keep that in mind, that if you're buying AMC now, odds are ever in your favor that you're going to make some money a month or two down the line from these prices, right, which would support that bounce. Now, the MACD is very negative as well. Anytime that you have bought AMC stock when the MACD has been negative and held for a month or two, you have also made a lot of money. So just the historical trends here, are pretty good. Now, 1250 on any downside is the level that you really want to watch here. 1250 will be pretty important. You're approaching that right now. The stock is at $12.76 per share. On the upside, it looks like about $14 per share is a big resistance level. $14.55 is where the 8-day moving average is. That would be a big level to the upside as well to break out above. And if you do break out above that, about $14.50, then you could start to make your way to the high teens and then ultimately the low 20s or so. So I do expect a big bounce to come. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know. It could be tomorrow. It could be today. It could be anytime. It could be next week. It could be next month. I'm not a financial advisor. Come to your own conclusions. But I do think the profile of buying AMC stock now, considering it's 80% under the average analyst price target, makes a whole lot of sense to me. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. You guys have a great great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.